Gravity. We all have to live with it. It's a grave subject. Sort of brings us down to earth quite often. But it's a good metaphor for music. When we talk about these cadences and coming to a resting point and these unstable notes coming to stable notes, you might view it as gravitational pull. It's inevitable that sooner, though we might wander around for a good amount of time throughout the song, by the time we get to the end of the song, sooner or later, we've got to come back home. So we leave the planet. We have a grand adventure out there in the universe someplace, and eventually we come back to Planet Tonic, and all is resolved. There was conflict, and there at last is resolution as we come near rather than being far. Just like that. Gravitational pull. Let's create this chart by which we can explain music theory and scale degree tendencies through this concept of gravitational pull.
It's like hosts the planets.
It is like that. There are 7 of them, and we might say there are 4 generations out from Planet Tonic in different... yes, so here we are. Here we go. There's Planet Tonic. That's the center. That's the one chord. There's the first generation of chords, the ones that are so close to tonic that once you get there, you have to fall to earth. You can't go somewhere else because it's such a strong thing.
Gravitational pull is strong.
It's so strong. There are 2 families of chords that we would say are that close, and they're very related. The first, of course, is the
5.
The 5 chord. Whether it's a 5/7 chord, a minor 5, a 5/9,
5
plain
flat
old
13.
5, all of those in that family of 5 chords, those are all so inevitably heading toward tonic that it's the natural inclination. It's the direction they're going to go. The other thing that belongs in that first generation circle is another family of chords, and those would be the leading tone chords.
The diminished 7.
Mm-hmm. So it could be the 7 chord by itself. It could be any inversion of that. It could be a flat 7. It could be 7 half diminished or fully diminished. Lots of options there. We might really view the 7 chord as being an incomplete 5. According to bass law, you add the bass note of 5 to it, and you really have
some
the same
kind of
pitches
5
all over again. So I often really throw them together and say the whole thing is a 5/7 chord, really.
It really makes things easier.
Yeah. But in any case, there's that family of the first generation of chords. Now, according to bass law, have we covered bass law?
Oh, yes.
We've covered bass law. You already know about that. According to bass law, after the 5 chord, what would the next generation out be?
Well, you've got a couple of different chords, but according to bass law, the 2 chord would be the next logical one.
Wants to go to 5 because the bass wants to jump up
a
a
fourth.
fourth. So the 2 wants to go to 5, which wants to go to 1. That's like, once we get to the 2 out here, it just sort of pulls us into Planet Tonic, and there we are. Now, once you get out there to 2, you could wind up drifting somewhere else.
It's true.
But when 2 goes to 5, that's pretty strong pull, and
you know where it's headed.
You're into the gravitational pull of tonic by then. Okay. Now, if we're going through 7, bass law makes sense with this other family of chords. So again, the 2 could be a 2, a 2/7, a 2/9, a 5/5. There are major 2, flat 2. There are a lot of different possibilities there, but we'll just say it's all the family of 2. It's a big family.
And kind of like the 5 and the 7 relationship, there's a relationship between the 2 chord and the 4 chord because they're practically the same. It just depends on where your bass is, really.
Really, it's true. Mm-hmm. And if you think about it, the 4 chord is a fourth below 7. Even though it's a tritone, it's still a fourth away, so it naturally wants to go to 7. So 4/5/1, 2/5/1. It's a strong pull.
Kind of the same.
Okay, 4. I could go somewhere else if I wanted to. But once I get to 5, it says we're heading home. We're going home.
The third ring out.
Ah, yes, the third generation of chords. So we've got tonic, we've got 5 and its family, we've got 2 and its family. What would the next ring out if we're following bass law? Go backwards, go down a fourth from 2. Math is a little difficult, but
Somehow you get to
it
6.
would be a 6.
6.
6 in all its kin, which would be a 5 of 2, or it could be a flat 6, would be, anyway, anything that's in that realm. So there are a lot of different possibilities. If you think about it, even a 1 chord could be a part of that generation because it's a fourth below 4. 1 to 4 to 5 to 1. Anyway, this is how we create chord loops. We go away from Planet Tonic and then we swing back and
Come back around.
So we sort of remember the movie Apollo 13. They used the moon and its gravity to fling them back to Earth. You know, you have to. So sometimes this is how chord loops work. We head 4, 5, 1, and when we get there, we don't quite hit 1. We swing around 1, and we fling ourselves back out into space, come back in again, and sort of sets up a perpetual motion. But we don't want to get too dizzy doing that perpetual motion. So 6 is that next, the third generation out. 6 to 2 to 5 to 1. We could even go one more generation out, a fourth generation out, and that would be a 3 chord. We don't see 3s very often, and there are a whole lot of other options out there, but the 3 chord. Now, if you look at the chart, you'll see that all 7 diatonic chords are now covered. There's tonic, 1 is in the first layer out. There's 2, the third or the second generation out. There's 3, there's 4, there's 5, there's 6, and 7. So all of them are accounted for, and the variations of those chords as some way of relating back to Planet Tonic. Well, we're going to find out, this is a very helpful illustration later when we talk about changing keys, modulating to another key. What we do is we set up a different planet out there someplace, and we go far enough away from Planet Tonic that actually we get pulled into a different gravitational pull,